Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and it is pouring raining in my part of the world. I just had to get out in it and had to get soaked in order to get my son off to somewhere. So anyway, here we go. I wanted something I don't think I covered, but I wanted to make sure I did. This article here on Yahoo Finance from a few days ago. Want to invest in private securities, you may need to pass an exam under this bill. It's talking about accredited investors, and I wanted to address this since Link2 is one of my sponsors. Right now, anyone who wants to purchase an unregistered security, such as shares in a hedge fund or private equity fund, needs to show that the SEC considers they're what the SEC considers an accredited investor. To qualify, you need to net a net worth of more than $1 million, not including your home, more than $200,000 a year in income, $300,000 if you're married, or significant experience as an investment professional. Otherwise, your money is off limits to private placement or other unregistered offerings. The Equal Opportunity for All Investors Act of 2023 would instruct the SEC to create an accredited investor certification exam that would allow investors to demonstrate they have the knowledge and understanding required to participate in the private market. The exam would be administered by FINRA. Do you know how monstrous that if that happened, do you know how big that would be for a company like Link2, who is one of my sponsors? It would be massive, because all of a sudden it would open up Link2 to a potential customer base that includes vastly more people. So Link2, I own Link2 shares. I own Ripple shares, the ones you're looking at here, PolySign, Ripple, Link2, Uphold. What else? Those are the ones I have right now, I think, that I'm seeing. But anyway, Link2 shares are on the platform. That is my largest holding, and the Link2 shares are on the platform right now. So I just wanted to go over that so everybody's aware of what's potentially coming. But the link to that is in the top of the description of this video. Now, let's go on. Now, before this was so funny to listen to, because it's John Deaton yesterday in a Spaces, and what you have to understand, folks. And you cannot underestimate. I've watched it for 5+ years. The Bitcoin and Ethereum maxi people, not only is ETHgate real, but these people, and even though supposedly all of crypto's fighting together now, you don't understand the hate that the Bitcoin and Ethereum maxi people have had for Ripple and XRP in all these years. And even though they're now having to listen to the fact that it's the XRP community who, in essence, has potentially saved many of their butts, despite them trying to hurt Ripple and XRP all this time. They're coming into these things and having to listen to John Deaton tell it like it is, and I have to tell you, it's hilarious. And I can prove this, by the way. One of those maxis is Meltem Demirors, or Demirors, okay? This is her right here. She's Bitcoin maxi, I think, is where she falls. Here's a little tweet from back in the day. I don't forget things. May 24th, 2021, or she tweeted it that day or the day before. Barry Silbert had tweeted, what if there was one company that was behind most of the Bitcoin energy usage FUD? Now that would make for a sensational story for somebody to write. And she retweets it and says, starts with RIP and ends with PLE. They also spent the most on lobbying the last 3 years. And Brad Garlinghouse had replied to her and said, it's beyond flattering that you think Ripple is the puppet master behind Elon Musk, countless scientists, governments, crypto enthusiasts, and others who have stated the facts about BTC's energy use. So you can see the seething hatred that they had. I mean, and don't think that that's all gone away either. So to listen to this in that context and listen to John Deaton, because these podcasts right here, the one with this Mario Nawaf, I don't know how you say his last name. He seems like a pretty nice guy. But you have to understand, most of these people, because I've been watching his spaces, and the people in there are people like Rand Nooner. If you remember, Rand Nooner's the one that had Tushar Jain on from Multicoin Capital and teed him up to talk about how he's shorting XRP and all that back in 2018. Rand Nooner's been one of the guys. He's the guy that would tee up all of these guys. He's in that whole crew too, and he's been on their spaces a lot. And you'll notice in their spaces, until yesterday, they don't ever let XRP people up on stage. Now this Mario guy he's actually invited me to be on his spaces. But most of the people that are up on these stages are Bitcoin and Ethereum people. And anyway, I think I laid the foundation right.
This isn't a fucking conspiracy theory. This is a monkey could prove that he violated 18 USC 208. I can do that.
Have at it. 2-3 minutes. Go.
All right. So basically, Hinman, Jay Clayton's firm is Sullivan and Cromwell. Joe Lubin did a fantastic job in hiring Sullivan and Cromwell attorneys as soon as Clayton was appointed, made one the deputy general counsel. And basically, that guaranteed a meeting. December 13th, 2017, Joe Lubin and Consensus meet with Hinman, and they discuss an alliance. The general counsel of Consensus the next day, December 14th, I got all this proof on my site, says we're building an alliance with the SEC. Between that moment and June 8th, when they met with Vitalik, 6 to 8 meetings were made with Hinman and the ETH folks, including Chris Dixon at A16Z. Jay Clayton went to Chris Dixon, A16Z, said, put a memo together. Lowell Ness, their attorney in crypto, wrote him.
You just don't understand how it pains some of these .eth people to listen to this, to have him on that stage.
Gave it to Hinman on March 26, 2018, met Hinman 2 days later on March 28, 2018, and they offered a safe harbor for ETH, and only ETH, the only token that was listed as someone who should be given safe harbor. And then there's this meeting that continued to happen. Then on June 11th, that's when the Office of General Counsel says you shouldn't put ETH in, and Hinman ignores it. He says, well, we believe ETH is sufficiently decentralized, but I'm going to talk to Vitalik and see if he confirms that. Now, imagine going to Brad Garlinghouse or Joel of David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, and saying, hey, we think it's sufficiently decentralized. Is the XRP ledger sufficiently decentralized? Of course, they're going to confirm that. And then the speech was given. Now, what we learned is that when he...
Except Brad Garlinghouse and they're from the United States, not Russia or Canada. And that's not saying anything bad about Russia or Canada. It's saying, why is the SEC of the United States of America kowtowing to Canadians and Russians and stopping people in the United States, and not just kowtowing to Russia and Canada, but China, Alibaba? Don't forget Hinman and Clayton's ties to Alibaba. What in the world is that? Now, I'm not gonna play that whole clip, but it's great. Go listen to it. Now, and then there's that I showed you. But here, you got to see this, folks. Now, I'm going to tell you the backstory here. This guy right here is a stand-up guy. His name's Jeff Wilser. He's a writer. I already followed him yesterday. There's a lot of stuff going on. I had to go refollow John Deaton yesterday, folks. So the Twitter had automatically unfollowed me from John Deaton, and that just ain't so. All right. So this guy, Jeff Wilser, approached myself and a few other guys about doing an article on ETHgate, the XRP army, and all the stuff. Okay, and I was kind of wary about doing it because I was like, look, CoinDesk they've never covered any of this stuff. I said, are you sure that they're going to let you cover this? And he acted like, yeah, they're going to let me cover. And sure enough, this guy went, and I was also worried about being taken out of context and stuff like that. And the guy literally was a stand-up guy and did exactly what he said he would do, and he didn't put words in our mouth or try to spin it or anything like that. That guy's a class act. Throughout its 3-year battle, legal battle with the SEC, Ripple has had a powerful force at its back, XRP Army. Jeff Wilson meets crypto's most motivated group of supporters and finds out what makes the Army tick. And he did this whole article. I'm not going to sit here and go through the article, but there's John Deaton, and that's his granddaughter, I'm assuming. I think she was on stage at XRP Las Vegas. There's Billy Boy Hinman, and I think that then there's Brad Garlinghouse. And the only other picture that they had, let me refresh this. They had a picture at the top yesterday that was the XRP Las Vegas. Let me see if it's in it was like a great shot from XRP Las Vegas is what they had. And now they had a bunch of people that, anyway, there it is. Okay, there it is. That's what they had yesterday on the main article, as I recall. And if you'll see, there's the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, Mr. Intuitive, Brad Garlinghouse, Brad Combs, and actually the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel is right here. And I think that right there's Rob Cunningham, I believe. And then look, it's the official rock star of the Digital Asset Investor channel too, looking like a rock star. He's got the sunglasses and everything. And that's the lead singer of Alice in Chains, William Duvall, for those of you that don't know. On his this is a quote, on his website, Deaton has a meticulous timeline that makes the case for hypocrisy, double standards, and conflicts of interest. I have it because I have an army beside me. Very timely article, Why the Army Keeps Fighting. Folks, they covered it all. They even brought up I mentioned the disguised whales video with Joe Lubin, and they said they reached out to Joseph Lubin and he didn't reply to them. Go figure. Then we've got this. John Deaton, the Hinman emails help Coinbase, ETH, and Ripple's fair notice defense. How much it helps anyone in a courtroom is yet to be seen, but in the court of public opinion and in Congress, the emails should help drive attention to how hypocritical and reckless the SEC is being. Now, Cowboy Crypto, who is the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, pointed out yesterday, I showed you where he pointed out that Bill Hinman he put in his subject line when they were passing the speech around, he referred to it as the Ether speech. And now he's found something else interesting. It was only Bill Hinman who put that as his subject. David Fredrickson called it a draft. And then if you look, Valerie Chapinick forwarded the speech. But only Bill Hinman said subject Ether speech. The guy was determined to have Ether in that speech. In other words, to have proof of work in that speech. Remember, this is the guy that took Alibaba public. This is the guy remember Canaan, the mining companies that went public while they were there, the Chinese mining companies. Then Rosalind Layton put out an article, Hinman emails Unmask SEC, showing an agency more concerned with its own turf than protecting investors. They also show a high-ranking official ignoring complicit internal warnings that he was not following the law. He was making it up, is what he was doing. Now, don't forget about Empower oversight, folks, because those Hinman emails, that's just the tip of the iceberg. If the real stuff, and remember, there were, I think it was Stefan Huber or Mr. Huber who a while back was passing around an email list. It may have been Cowboy Crypto, I don't remember. I think it was one of them, but they were passing around a spreadsheet where they found a Bill Hinman Gmail address that was listed as one of like the advisors to the Brooklyn Project, which was Consensus. Joseph Lubin. That's where, and that's what. Look, my understanding is if these guys get the Inspector General to, if they get Congress to get the Inspector General to call for an investigation, okay? Or if Congress calls for an investigation by the Inspector General, then it opens the door to subpoenas of those kind of things. That's where you're going to see, because these people aren't dumb. It's not like they would have used their SEC email addresses to say what was really going on. Jason Foster says, it certainly looks like the newly released emails add to the evidence in our IG referral. What did the IG do with the referral about Hinman and the ethics office anyway? Who did the SEC talk to about our referral? We'll keep fighting for those documents as well. Jason Foster is a dog with a bone, folks, and that's what I wrote here. Don't forget about Empower. That's a dog with a bone that's not letting go. And I was retweeting this tweet. After reading Hinman emails, I can only say holy S word, as my 10-year-old would say. I knew these documents were going to be bad for the SEC, but the information that is coming out is truly shocking. These documents prove everything the XRP community has been preaching for 2.5 years to be true. Blatant corruption, market manipulation, billions and billions in damages, hiding, or trillions, as Jimmy Valley says, hiding information from public. This is just the start, too. There's so much more to uncover. Do the people finally understand why XRP holders have been so frustrated? And then he goes on. Good, very good tweet. Now, this is the other thing. Remember, this is the list of people that Empower is trying to find out communications between Bill Hinman and them, okay? This is the enterprise persons from the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance who communicated with Bill Hinman May 2017 to December 2020. Look at some of the names on that list, folks. Take a hard look. That is still in the works. Now, I'm going to finish with Exhibit 220, which people refer to as the smoking gun. Or I was told that's the smoking gun yesterday. Exhibit 220. Now, it doesn't say who it's from, who it's to, or who it's from, but it was a memorandum that was running around the SEC. I want to read the last paragraph to you because it's pretty unbelievable. Based on this, remember the SEC had this analysis, whether they wrote it or somebody wrote it to let them review or what. Based on the above analysis, the subject to qualifications and assumptions set forth herein, we believe that as of the date of this memorandum that you have reasonable grounds to conclude that XRP does not satisfy all elements of the Howey analysis and is therefore not a security for purposes of the federal securities laws. All right. Then you had this from the official cool guy. Exhibit 220 is a smoking gun. He's an attorney, by the way. There are reasonable grounds for determining that XRP does not satisfy each prong of the Howey test, and thus there are reasonable grounds for concluding that XRP should not be considered an investment contract or security. And then finally, I wanted to show you this one. Well, they deleted this one. This was, and I was confused by this one. Let me see if I can. All right. Anyway, it was from Cowboy Crypto, and I couldn't find. I was trying to find some context for it, so maybe they'll put it back out and I'll cover it in the next video, but I was going to go through that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we've been right all along. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.